Hello, Aries. Have you ever wondered why your heart feels so heavy, as if you're carrying the weight of the entire world on your shoulders? People often say Aries is fire, strong, determined, always moving forward, but there's a truth very few can see. Behind that strength lies a soul quietly exhausted, a heart that has loved too deeply, sacrificed too much, and given more than anyone ever asked for. Today, we're going to take a deeper journey together to uncover why this extreme kindness has made Aries one of the zodiac's greatest sufferers, and yet also one of its brightest lights, because this isn't just a story written in the stars, it's your story too, a story about wounds that were never named and truths you've carried in silence. So let's begin, right where the pain first took root, and together, let's learn to see yourself again in a softer, brighter light. Have you ever walked with your head held high, shoulders straight, eyes burning with fire, only to find yourself when the night falls, sitting in silence in some hidden corner, hugging a heart full of unspoken scars? If you're listening to this right now, maybe you know exactly how that feels, because you are Aries, and life has handed you both a gift and a burden called strength. People see Aries as a flame that never dies. You walk into a room and everything starts to move. You're the pioneer, the one who dares to step where no one has ever walked, the warrior standing on the front lines to protect what you believe in. Everyone thinks you never get tired, that you don't know fear, that you never break. They admire your confidence, your fire, your unstoppable energy, but so few ever stop to ask, who's protecting Aries? Behind all that laughter, behind all that light, is a fragile heart sensitive to its core. Aries can fight the whole world, but sometimes can't fight the wounds buried deep within. You love with everything you have, you give until there's nothing left, and you're left holding a silence only you understand. I used to believe strength meant never letting anyone see your pain, but Aries has taught me something different. Kindness is not weakness, it's a quiet form of power, a spiritual strength. It doesn't need applause, doesn't need recognition. The kindness of Aries is like the morning sun. It speaks no words, it makes no demands, it simply touches lives and warms hearts without anyone even realizing it was you all along. But that light comes with a price. To be the shoulder everyone leans on, you've learned to swallow your storms. You smile while your heart quietly cracks. You stay calm when you're misunderstood, stand tall when you've been betrayed, and somehow, you still keep loving, even when you've never truly been loved back the way you deserve. And Aries, that courage is beautiful, but God, it's exhausting. There are nights you lie awake, not because of work, not because of ambition, but because your heart hasn't found its resting place. There are mornings you stare into the mirror and wonder, does anyone see the real me, or just the armor I wear every single day? And so, you choose silence, not because you don't want to share, but because you're terrified they won't understand. Aries, listen closely. Real strength isn't hiding your pain, it's having the courage to face it. When you can finally admit you're tired, when you whisper to yourself, I'm hurting, you're not weaker, you're walking closer to your own healing, setting boundaries, learning to say no, learning to love yourself first. That isn't selfishness. That's the gift you give your own heart, because you deserve a safe space, a place where you can fall apart without being judged. You deserve people who will sit with your silence and hold your story without asking for anything in return. More than anything, Aries, you deserve to be loved with the same depth, the same fire, the same purity you've always given away so freely. And if you've seen yourself in these words, share your story, let someone out there know. They are not alone, because maybe, just maybe, the thing that hurts Aries the most is not the weight of being strong, but giving so much of your heart and never asking for anything back. There are moments when you look into the fiery eyes of Aries and you see something rare, something unforgettable, a heart that craves love and to be loved, a soul always ready to open its arms, to shelter, protect, and lift others up, even when no one asks for it. Aries walks into people's lives like a warm breeze, bringing light, passion, and unconditional care. They give everything, as if there's an endless spring flowing inside their heart. When someone falls, Aries is the first to run and catch them. When a stranger needs help, they give, even when they have little to spare. And when someone they love is in pain, Aries would rather carry all the suffering themselves, just to see the other person smile again. But what few ever see is how much silent pain that same heart must endure just to keep its light burning. unconditional kindness. It's a beautiful gift the universe placed inside Aries. But that gift comes with a heavy price. Because when you give without end, you eventually face a hard truth. Not everyone treasures it, and not everyone who touches your light deserves to stay in it. Aries has learned this lesson the hard way. Kindness mistaken for obligation. Compassion treated as something people are entitled to. Sacrifices that go unseen, unspoken, unappreciated. There were times they were used. There were times they were betrayed. And there were times they realized they had given their heart to hands that never knew how to hold it. The sad truth is, there are people in this world who cannot understand the value of a sincere heart. They see Aries' strength and lean on it, yet they never think to be a pillar for you in return. And when this happens again and again, tiny scratches slowly carve into Aries' soul, until one day they turn into scars no one can see. Aries, I know you'll keep giving, because that's who you are. Kindness isn't a choice for you, it's your nature, your fire, but remember this. Loving others does not mean losing yourself. Forgiving someone does not mean allowing them to touch the same wound over and over again. Your light shines brightest when it flows from a heart that's protected, from a soul that knows its worth. Before giving it away, I used to believe that giving everything was the purest form of love. But I've learned something from strong, quiet souls like Aries. Giving must walk hand in hand with awareness. When you learn to set boundaries, your light only burns brighter, because the ones who stay are the ones who see your value, who honor what you bring, and love you with the same sincerity you've always given them. Sometimes life teaches Aries the harshest way. You discover that not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Some people come only to teach you how to say no. Some appear just to make you understand that love, too, must be chosen wisely. And so you begin to build invisible walls around your heart, not because you've grown cold, but because you're protecting the most sacred place within you from unworthy hands. But Aries, please never let these wounds extinguish the fire within you. Your true strength doesn't come from closing your heart. It comes from daring to open it again. After everything you've been through, that's your purest beauty, to love again, to trust again, even knowing you might get hurt. To this world, your kindness might be misunderstood. They may call you naive. They may think you're weak. But only those who have truly seen your light know the truth. You're the one making this world warmer, kinder, and more beautiful. Because sometimes Aries learns the hardest lesson of all. Not everyone who reaches for your light deserves to stay within it. And that is a truth only the greatest souls ever understand. So if you've ever felt that your kindness has been misunderstood, share your story, because what you reveal today might just help someone out there feel seen and less alone. And when your heart finally learns to love with awareness, you'll discover another secret. Aries speaks a very special language in love, a depth so profound it's often mistaken for distance, a silent devotion that only those who truly listen will ever understand. There are languages in love that are never written into words, never spoken aloud, never echoed before the world. And Aries knows this language better than anyone. For them, love has never been about promises shouted from rooftops or grand declarations meant for the crowd. No, for Aries, love lives in the quiet, woven into small, subtle acts. Steady and constant, like the silent rhythm of a heartbeat. Aries loves by paying attention to the little things most people miss. They remember what you like, hold on to the fears you once whispered, and quietly arrange the world around you, just so you can breathe easier. They don't say, "I love you" or "I'll protect you 100 times. Instead, you feel it. In the way they give you the last bite of their favorite dessert, in the way they switch on the heater without a word, because they know you hate the cold. In the short, simple texts at midnight. Home yet, for Aries, love is care, it's presence. It's giving fully, quietly, endlessly. But loving in silence comes with a price. People rarely hear the promises hidden in those quiet gestures. They look at Aries' calmness and mistake it for distance, for coldness, for indifference. They don't see that the deepest kind of love doesn't always need words to prove itself. And so, Aries carries their heart through this world, loving more than anyone could ever measure, yet being understood less than anyone else. Aries always stands on the side of the ones they love. Even when the whole world turns its back, they will sacrifice dreams, time, and even their own peace, if it means the one they love can smile. But sometimes, that devotion makes them invisible. When giving becomes expected, people forget the cost behind it, the heart working silently day after day. I used to believe love meant giving everything. But Aries taught me something different. True love isn't losing yourself to keep someone else. Real love comes from a heart that is whole, not one left empty from giving too much away. Yet Aries often forgets this. They love so deeply. They forget they deserve to be loved just as deeply in return. And when that love isn't honored, they don't shout, they don't demand, they don't beg. They simply walk away, silently, gracefully, but a part of their heart always stays, watching from afar, like a candle still burning in the wind, knowing it might fade but refusing to go out. That is the beauty and the tragedy of Aries in love. A love so pure, so steady, so fiercely loyal, but too often carried alone. And through every heartbreak, every misunderstanding, every moment of being left behind, they learn to love in even greater silence. Yet no matter the scars, Aries never loses faith in love. Because deep down, they know their heart was made to love, to protect, to nurture, even when no one loves them back. Remember this, Aries, true love begins with you. Learn to love yourself first. Put your own heart where it belongs, at the center. Don't trade away your soul for those who can't see your worth, because when you love yourself enough, the love you give becomes stronger, fuller, and finally finds the ones who deserve it. Sometimes the world won't understand your language of love, and that's not your fault. You love in your own way, quiet but intense, subtle but infinite. It's a rare gift from the universe, one only the right souls will ever truly hear. And when the world fails to understand, Aries chooses silence. A silence filled with hidden storms, unspoken wounds, and long sleepless nights no one ever sees, and within that silence, another layer of emotion begins to unfold. A place where quiet love turns into quiet strength, and where the deepest parts of Aries' heart begin to awaken. There's something strange, almost sacred, about the lives of those born under Aries. They are the ones everyone runs to when the world falls apart. Yet when the storm hits their own life, there's rarely a shoulder for them to lean on. People see an Aries who is strong, passionate, fearless enough to stand at the front line when things get hard. They admire their determination, their fiery steps, and the unshakable faith they hold in what they protect. But very few ever see that behind those proud, steady eyes, there are nights when Aries whispers to themselves, "Is there anyone here for me?" Behind the loud laughter, behind the endless optimism, there are long, haunting silences, nights when Aries cries without making a sound. Tears fall quietly in the dark, patient and unspoken, just like the way Aries loves and lives. Aries carries a fierce instinct to protect. They want to shield the ones they love, to build walls so no one else ever has to taste the pain they've known. And that's why they hide their own wounds. They don't talk about the nights their heart felt crushed. They don't confess the fears that silently gnaw at them, because deep inside there's a belief that never lets go. If I fall, what will happen to the ones I love? So they force themselves to be strong. They think crying would make others lose faith in them. They believe showing weakness means becoming a burden, and Aries never wants to be a burden. So they smile, they comfort, they guide, they lift others up, and when the night finally falls, they gather the broken pieces of themselves, alone in the corner of their heart, and slowly, carefully stitch themselves back together. I used to believe loneliness was the scariest emptiness of all, but watching how Aries lives, I learned something else. Sometimes, loneliness is where they find their strength. In silence, they learn how to rise again, how to heal, how to find themselves. After the chaos, it's a long road. It's never easy, but it forges an Aries so resilient, so admired, that the world can't help but notice. Still, even the strongest souls need a place to fall. Even the fiercest warriors need a quiet moment to take off their armor and breathe. Aries deserves to cry. Aries deserves to whisper, "I'm tired." Aries deserves a hand to hold, a voice that says softly, "Lean on me just this once. This time let me protect you." And I believe this world would be so much more beautiful if we all learned to listen to the silences within each other, to notice the smiles that no longer reach the eyes, to recognize when someone is holding an entire storm inside their chest, even while wearing calmness on their face. Because sometimes, one simple question, "Are you okay?" can unlock the doors an Aries has kept shut for far too long. Aries teaches us something precious about emotional freedom, that being vulnerable is also a form of courage. Admitting you're hurting doesn't make you weaker. It makes you more honest with yourself. And if you're hearing these words right now, and you see pieces of yourself in them, maybe you too are carrying your own quiet storms. How many times have you pretended to be fine, just to keep others from worrying? How many nights have you fought your battles alone, afraid that if you broke down, someone might lose faith in you? If you've ever felt that way, you are not alone. Share your story, because who knows, the words you speak today might become the bridge that connects two hearts that thought they were worlds apart. And so, through all the silences and through every storm, Aries keeps walking. They keep giving their loyalty like a sacred vow, believing that sincerity will always be met with sincerity. But sometimes, life doesn't follow those beautiful rules, and when Aries has given their heart completely, what hurts the most is when that loyalty is met with quiet betrayal. There are things in life etched so deeply into an Aries soul that they become part of who they are. Loyalty is one of those things. For Aries, loyalty isn't a choice, sacred vow. When they open the door to their heart, they do it with everything they have, all their trust, all their light, all their love. Aries doesn't give their trust easily. They watch, they sense, they test the souls who step into their world, but once they believe in you, once they call you family, lover, or best friend, in their mind, that bond is eternal. To Aries, loyalty means forever. They give everything, their time, their energy, their hope, their heart, without asking for guarantees, and that's exactly why betrayal cuts so much deeper for them than for anyone else, because when someone breaks a promise, when someone goes against the trust Aries gave so freely, they don't just hurt a relationship, they fracture a piece of Aries' soul. But if you think Aries will scream, create drama, or beg for answers, you're wrong. They won't. Aries won't throw sharp words, won't seek revenge, won't demand explanations. Instead, they retreat into silence, a silence so deep that it forces the other person to realize they've just lost something priceless, something no apology could ever fix. Once an Aries walks away, you'll feel the weight of everything they once carried in silence. You'll finally notice the little things they did for you, the quiet ways they protected you, the small acts of love you never even saw. But by the time you realize it, it's too late, because when an Aries closes their heart, it never opens the same way again. Here's the bitter truth about this world. The most loyal souls are often the ones who get hurt the most, and Aries knows that better than anyone. But here's what makes them extraordinary. No matter how many times they're broken, they don't learn to love halfway. Aries doesn't know how to give half of themselves. It's either all of them or nothing at all. I used to wonder what keeps them believing after everything they've lost. And then I understood. Aries believes in the goodness of people. They believe that somewhere out there, souls still exist, who live by honesty and sincerity. They believe loyalty still matters, even if the world takes it for granted. Because to Aries, loyalty is what makes this cold world a little warmer, and maybe every betrayal has made them wiser. They've learned to choose carefully, to keep only those who are truly worthy. Their loyalty is still there, but now, given with awareness, because the greatest lesson Aries has learned is this: love, friendship, any bond at all, must be given to the right person at the right place at the right time. And to you listening right now, maybe you've trusted someone too deeply and ended up hurt. Maybe you've wondered, where did I go wrong? But sometimes the problem isn't you. Giving loyalty is never a mistake. The mistake is placing it in hands that never knew how to hold it. If you've ever felt that way, share your story. Because somewhere out there, someone is listening, someone carrying a heart just as scarred as yours, and your story might remind them they are not alone. And so, even after heartbreak, even after shattered trust, Aries continues to love, to give, to sacrifice, because deep down they believe one thing: love is the only force that makes this world worth living in. Sometimes real strength isn't about never being broken, but about finding the courage to love again, even after you've been torn apart. And from that place of quiet pain, you begin to see the deepest truth about Aries, that even when their heart still carries hidden wounds, they will still choose to give. They will still put others before themselves. They will still become a light for the people they love, no matter how many times they've been burned before. There are moments in life when you think you're walking alongside someone, but in truth, only one heart is carrying the weight, keeping the path lit. For Aries, that feeling is all too familiar, almost instinctive. They've always put someone else's happiness before their own. They take a step back so someone else can step forward. They stay silent, swallowing the pain just so someone else can feel at peace. Behind that strong, unwavering smile are nights they gave up their own dreams, moments they carried the weight of responsibility so nobody else would have to worry, tears swallowed in silence so someone else could keep their laughter. Aries doesn't ask for much. They don't brag. They don't demand recognition. Their love, their kindness, burn quietly like a small lamp, warming lost souls in the dark. But what weighs heavy on their heart is this: too many times that light is treated as if it's always guaranteed. People get used to Aries always being there. They get used to the care, the love, the sacrifice, without ever truly seeing what it costs. Aries is willing to set aside their youthful dreams just so someone else can sleep peacefully. They take on burdens no one else wants, so others can finally breathe. They always come last, placing their own needs at the very bottom, because to them love means giving everything. But life can be cruel. Aries' sacrifices aren't always seen. Sometimes, the very people they love the most are the first to forget them. Aries rarely complains. They retreat quietly into their own space, where a tired heart still keeps loving anyway. It's a quiet kind of beauty, strength wrapped around wounds no one else can see. I still believe this. The love and kindness of Aries are a miraculous light in this world. But even light needs fuel to keep burning. When you keep giving and never set boundaries, one day you'll wake up empty, and that's not weakness. It's simply because you've loved too much, given too much, forgotten that you too deserve love. Loving yourself is not selfish. It's respecting your own heart, because you can't warm the world if you no longer have a flame to give. Aries teaches us a profound truth. To love is beautiful, but learn to love without losing yourself. Love isn't abandoning yourself just to make someone else stay. Real love is keeping your own light intact and letting that light guide the ones who truly deserve it. The moment you begin to love yourself, the world will learn to treat you differently. And when Aries understands this, they'll stop wasting their heart on those who can't see its worth. Have you ever sacrificed everything, only to realize one day you were never more than a footnote in someone else's story? If you have, you understand Aries' silence. You understand why silent sacrifices often leave the deepest scars. So share your story. If you've ever loved too much, only to find yourself invisible, because somewhere in your words, another heart may find its reflection. And when we sit with that truth, we see something else. Despite the heartbreaks, despite the moments their light flickers and fades, there is something in Aries that never dies, a quiet, unshakable faith, a spark of hope no darkness can extinguish, because deep within them, there is still a fire that never goes out. There are nights when Aries' heart feels so heavy, as if it can't possibly rise again. And yet when morning comes, they still open their eyes, still take a step forward, and still gift the world a quiet smile. From the outside, people often don't understand. How can a heart that's been scarred so deeply still beat so wildly with faith and hope? The truth is, deep inside Aries, there's always a flame. It's small, yes, but unshakable. Nothing in this world can put it out. It's the flame of faith. Faith that every effort carries meaning. Faith that kindness is never wasted. Faith that true love is always worth searching for, even after countless times of being misunderstood. Even after pouring their whole heart into someone and being met with pain, Aries never learns how to hate. They might go silent. They might close a door, but this heart, it never stops beating for love. Aries carries a kind of stubbornness, a beautiful one, a stubborn belief in goodness, in what's right, in light, even in the darkest of nights. I've always believed. This is a spiritual gift the universe gave to Aries, that inner flame. It's what helps them rise after every fall, and step by step, they continue their journey. They may not even realize it, but that quiet resilience becomes an inspiration for those around them. Watching Aries endure pain and still hold on to an unbroken heart teaches us something powerful. We may fail, may lose, but we must never, ever lose faith in life. For Aries, hope isn't an illusion. It isn't blind faith that everything will always be beautiful. Hope is strength. It's a choice made every single day. It's that whisper in your soul that says, I'll try one more time, I'll love one more time, I'll believe one more time. And that's what makes life meaningful. That's what makes us want to keep walking forward. If you're hearing these words right now, maybe you carry a flame like that too. Maybe it once felt so small, buried beneath disappointment and pain, but I promise you, it was never truly gone. Don't be afraid when you feel tired. Don't be ashamed for trusting the wrong people, as long as you still hold even a tiny spark of hope. You carry a strength the world cannot take from you. Remember this. The world needs hearts like Aries. We need souls brave enough to love deeply, to trust again, to give, to forgive, and to begin all over again. Because it's these very hearts that remind us of something eternal, that even in a fleeting, fragile world, kindness, compassion, and the longing to be loved will always matter. And if you're here listening, maybe you carry that same gift. Maybe you are someone's light, someone's faith, someone's hope, even if you don't know it yet. Have you felt it too? Have you ever stood among the ruins and still chosen to open your heart, believing love is worth it? If you have, share your story in the comments, because maybe your words today will reach someone who needs the strength to keep going. Thank you for giving your time, your heart, and for being here with me. Wherever you are, I hope you always find peace, love, and the kindness you've so freely given to this world.